fellow bibliophiles, and welcome back to Blatantly Bookish. I'm Marissa, and what can I say? I am full of announcements on this channel lately. Today I would like to announce another read-along. This is a read-along of A Tree Grows in Brooklyn in the month of May. So I will be hosting this one with Kate Howe as well. Don't forget, I still have the Bronte project going on my channel. In May, we'll be reading Anne Bronte's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. But I'm also doing this, and this is a book that I loved from my childhood. I completely devoured it in 7th grade, and I have really fond memories of it, but I think that it is time to revisit it. It's a coming-of-age story about the character of Francie Nolan. She lives in Brooklyn in the early 1900s, and I just remember falling in love with Francie, identifying with her, and this old school New York City vibe that reminds me of stories that my grandparents used to tell me about New York City. There is some hardship in here, there is poverty, there is alcoholism, and plenty of other difficult circumstances, but all of that is really overshadowed by the tenacity and the spirit of our main character, Francie. It's the kind of book that gives you the strength and the courage and confidence to flourish in any situation. And like I said, I haven't read it since the 7th grade, but I am so excited to. I was thinking about this project, I looked through the first page or two, and I had to pry myself away from reading the rest of the book. So it's really long, but it doesn't seem long once you get started. I'll read you the first page or two just to whet your appetites for this read-along. Serene was a word you could put to Brooklyn, New York, especially in the summer of 1912. Somber as a word was better, but it did not apply to Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Prairie was lovely, and Shenandoah had a beautiful sound, but you couldn't fit those words into Brooklyn. Serene was the only word for it, especially on a Saturday afternoon in summer. Late in the afternoon, the sun slanted down into the mossy yard belonging to Francie Nolan's house and warmed the worn wooden fence. Looking at the shafted sun, Francie had that same fine feeling that came when she recalled the poem they recited in school. This is the forest primeval, the murmuring pines and the hemlocks, bearded with moss and in garments green, indistinct in the twilight, stand like druids of eld. The one tree in Francie's yard was neither a pine nor a hemlock. It had pointed leaves which grew along green switches which radiated from the bough and made a tree which looked like a lot of opened green umbrellas. Some people call it the tree of heaven. No matter where its seed fell, it made a tree which struggled to reach the sky. It grew in boarded-up lots and out of neglected rubbish heaps, and it was the only tree that grew out of cement. It grew lushly, but only in the tenement districts. You took a walk on a Sunday afternoon and came to a nice neighborhood, very refined. You saw a small one of these trees through the iron gate leading to someone's yard, and you knew that soon that section of Brooklyn would get to be a tenement district. The tree knew. It came there first. Afterwards, poor foreigners seeped in, and the quiet old brownstone houses were hacked up into flats, featherbeds were pushed out onto the windowsills to air, and the tree of heaven flourished. That was the kind of tree it was. It liked poor people. So I hope that got you excited to read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. For those of you who are already participating in other readathons in the month of May, this one actually fits in quite nicely with Katie from Books and Things' 1900 to 1950s project. This book takes place in the early 1900s, so 1900 through 1920, I believe, and it was written in 1943. So it really encapsulates that time period pretty well. So I hope you will join Kate and I as we read this book together, and feel free to use the hashtag A Tree Grows in May. So until next time, I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. Bye!